These borders are not necessary, but the consequences of them will carry down to the young and up through the old, affecting the meek as well as the bold. And I will persist, but I really wish the city would maintain their curb cuts and sidewalks so I could roll for blocks and blocks.
Okay.
When businesses have stairs, it makes me feel as though no one there cares about my patronage anyway. They're just looking for someone to pay. But if all places had ramps, you could include your 3-year-old daughter and your 80-year-old grandpa. It's time to fix up our curbs, put our sidewalks in order, and take down unnecessary borders. Thank you very
Whoa.
much.
Oh, how wonderful. Before you read your next poem, Opal, I wondered whether anybody would like to just speak back to you about it.
Hey, could I break in here just for half a second?
Yeah.
Kim, maybe you'll want to say some of the stuff in the chat. But we were not originally recording, but I wanted to record because these events can be put on the Rural Everywhere website, Rural Assembly Everywhere website, where more people than just who are here today will be able to hear and have this experience. So is there anybody who has a concern about us recording this so that other people will be able to hear it at a later date?
I think it's a wonderful opportunity.
Great, thank you.
I will just say that if you prefer to, share your poems, and then we can have separate recording sessions where these poems can be a little bit more elevated and featured. And I mean, just the first two we heard are just, Opal, that was incredible. And Veranda,
Thank you.
beautiful. So in a way, I just feel like a Zoom call doesn't capture, a Zoom call with all these.
Oh, sure. But I mean, this is sort of our intimate sharing circle. And I do love the idea of, creating a more formal way to articulate. But Opal, would you like to hear some people's response to your poem?
Yes. Was I going too fast? I am sorry
I
if I was
don't think I
too
don't think
fast.
so. I don't think so.
I was trying to pause between stanzas. I don't know if it worked.
Yeah, you did that like a champ. It was so great. I see Rachel. Rachel wrote, "Take down unnecessary borders," and I loved that. And the part about how they put me in a box, it's very meaningful to me. And and Kim says consequences will carry sidewalks in order. Okay. So Opal, would you like to share your next poem?
If somebody else would like to go first, that's all right with me. Because I was only originally going to share one, but then I was doing some digging and I found, I had the other one, but I wasn't sure if I was gonna share it. And I was doing some digging and I found a poem that I wrote before COVID even happened. And so those weren't originally what I was going to share. So I would let somebody else share first and then finish.
And then we'll come back to you.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes, that's perfectly all right.
Okay, so Kim, can you let us know, would you like to say who might be we play next?
Yeah, so Whitney, if you're in the queue to do it, let's do, we don't have Alex and David joining us yet, so let's just wait and see if they come. So let's cue Bree and TH if we can. Let's do Bree's video and then do TH's video.
Oh dear. Okay. So is Bree the door?
Bree is opening the door. Yeah, the one you started to roll. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Sorry, I would have helped if I'd said their.
That's okay.
poems.
All right, here it comes to you. Sharing.
My poem is Opening the
Let me
Door.
start it over. Here we go.
Thanks, Whitney.
My name is Bree Wallace, and the title of my poem is Opening the Door. Sometimes growing up seems like a struggle. Drama and relationships have come along. I let them in, but I'm not sure I can be that strong. Letting down my guard, I didn't know would be so hard. Having emotions in the feeling, the door is open to begin the healing. It's my decision what I do.
That come through? Do we need to hear it again?
I think we need to hear it again.
I kind of do too. All right, here we go.
She's also reading very fast.
I cannot hear it right now. I'm not.
Drama and relationships have come along.
Is it not coming through?
I think it's because you muted yourself. Whitney.
Myself. That's what happened. My bad. Here we go. Let's try it again.
My name is Bree Wallace, and the title of my poem is Opening the Door. Sometimes growing up seems like a struggle. Drama and relationships have come along. I let them in, but I'm not sure I can be that strong. Letting down my guard, I didn't know would be so hard. Having emotions in the feeling, the door is open to begin the healing. It's my decision what I do. I can learn to hear my voice to myself. I will be true. Moving forward is my choice. I can see my future in the distance. It's looking bright along the way. I choose to give up all my resistance. I'm moving forward, and I'm here to stay.
Did we hear it all?
We did. Thanks, Whitney.
Yes. Yes, I mean, it's a whole poem about trust. And I could really understand why she would sort of race through it because it's such a vulnerable topic. But I was hearing her say, the door is open to begin the healing. And that really touched me. Was anybody else able to catch anything from that? Yeah, Opal?
I would say that the door is open to begin, and the healing part really resonated with me too. Because like as a I as a person with different ability am always wondering, will people see me as a person, or will they just see my needs instead of me? And so the whole poem about like trusting other people and letting your guard down occasionally, and how hard that is to make your own decision, but it's a decision only you can make. That part was, the whole poem was really powerful.
And you know, when somebody writes a poem, Opal, and I think you must have some version of this feeling, just the whole idea that somebody really gets what what your heartfelt message is. You know, that's so touching. And let's see. Oh, Kim, you had a response to this poem too, I see.
I did. I really love the juxtaposition with then, you know, towards the end, she says, it's my decision and giving up my resistance. And the way she uses that phrase, we usually think of giving up my resistance as like, well, I think of it as a very disempowered, right, kind of thing. And, you know, something being done to someone. And particularly when you put it like in a feminist context, I'm like, you know, I gave up my resistance. And it's like, you know, and instead, I really love the way she, the way she just used that phrase and what she meant by it, right?
Really. Rachel, did you want, am I pronouncing your name properly? Rachel?
Yep, it's Rachel.
Uh-huh. And so which of the lines was it that you chose?
I really like the last line. That was, I'm moving forward and I'm here to stay. I think especially us coming from rural areas, staying where we are is often like an act of rebellion almost, because I think the expectation, like the more modern expectation for now, is to want to, you know, move to the big city and escape our hometowns. And I also like how the staying like juxtaposes like with the moving forward. And I think it's cool that I think it's cool to acknowledge that like both are possible simultaneously.
And that would be a wonderful line if we were going to create a group poem that really talks about our own experience, no matter how old we are, making that decision to put down roots and to keep them, and whatever struggle is closest to our hearts, to carry on that struggle in the home place is really meaningful. And so thank you. And Kathleen, was there a line that I'm seeing you have here?
Yeah, I like that line where she talked about learning to listen to her internal voice. And how many times have we had young people who didn't, or even adults who don't hear that and understand that and listen to that about ourselves? And I appreciated that.
And it's also so really, I mean, it's one of the messages of this whole rural strategies gathering, that people of all ages can learn from each other and speak to our condition in a way that's really intersectional and egalitarian and so heartwarmingly necessary. So that was really lovely, and I'll be so happy to read these poems again following our conversation. So, Opal, did you want to read another one of your poems now? And then we could watch another video?
Yes, I can read another one of my poems. This one sort of resonates with the last one, and I wrote it before COVID, which gives me some perspective on what I thought was bad before COVID seems like nothing and like infinitesimal now in comparison, but it still rings true. It's really a poem about being about not quite fitting the mold and the pain of that, but at the same time not being willing to give yourself up to end the pain of that. So this one is called The Crazy Girl. and I will start in just a moment. The crazy girl. She's a jigsaw piece from the wrong puzzle. Human, yet alien. Beautiful, yet not stereotypically so. Weak, yet strong. Honest, yet kind. She expects honesty and kindness from them, but she's too real for them, and they're too fake for her. Where does she fit? I'm the crazy girl, and proud of it.
Wonderful. Wow, so awesome.
Tell her that I love both of
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my daughter Emily, who is sitting across the room, says she loves both of your poems. The jigsaw piece from the wrong puzzle is just so, I mean, it's a showstopper. It really is. I just, I think it's amazing. And Kim, did you want to say what you had?
think I'd know to unmute by now.
right.
Yeah, I love that line, and then I love the she's too real for them. It's been the story of my whole life, Opal, being too real for people. So I really just, that hit my solar plexus, and where does she fit?
Mm-hmm. And Rachel, do you want to add into that, please?
Yeah, sure. I really like the beautiful yet not stereotypically so line. Opal, I think it's really cool that like you're acknowledging that maybe like the standard that we usually like might think of like when we think of beauty is not all that beauty can be. And the other line that I really liked was the proud of it at the very end, because I think owning your differences and your uniqueness is very important, and the sign of strength.
Mm-hmm. And it's so hard, Opal, for so many people who don't have your inner strength and who have some kind of differences in their abilities that that could be stigmatized by others, that they stigmatize themselves so that they can't befriend their own strengths, and then they don't reach out to others. And so I just think that you should have your own like radio show, or just have a real platform to reach out to other people, and not just people who are riders in wheelchairs or who have some other specific identified difference, but who just need to get real, about their own jigsaw pieces.
Yes, and a little bit of a story behind that poem.
Okay.
Unless you were not done, Veranda. Sorry.
No, I'm so done. Besides which, where I come from, we all interrupt each other because it's what we do in Jewish families. We all just sort of talk at once. But you can always, I had nothing more to say, Opal.
Okay.
So the story?
A little bit of a story behind that poem. I am a person who, like, I can't not be myself. I am too real sometimes, even for my own good. Like, I can't not be that way. I've tried and it just doesn't work. Any of you who have ever read the book Stargirl, has anybody here ever read that? Anyway, that's my favorite book, and I resonate so much with that. And I was trying to find a way to encapsulate in few words the beauty and the pain of being an adolescent that doesn't quite that maybe doesn't have a lot of friends, not just to encapsulate my own experiences, but to encapsulate the differences between all teenagers and all people, and kind of get other kids, because let's face it, sometimes teenagers can be very fake. They just do that to protect themselves. And I was kind of doing that to show everybody that it's okay to be real, and that if we all got a little more real, that maybe we'd all get along a little better.
I sure agree with you. That's right. If we could all be a little more real, we could all get along a little better. Yeah, that's right. They could put that on buildings, you know, people should be reading that every day. So shall we look at another one of the videos? Whitney, if you're able.
I was looking up Stargirl, so sorry.
And yes, Whitney, yes, that is it.
Okay, good. It
It's
looks wonderful. I mean, I'm so into graphic novels, and my daughters are too, and so I'm glad to know about this.
I loved that line. I can't not be that way. I love that line. I can't not be that way.
I won't mute myself this time. Here we go. We can listen to it
I wrote
twice.
a poem called A Plan. We all have some downers in life. All you can do is fight. Fight the pain, fight the fears, let it out the way you can, and don't forget, God has a plan. Changing my ways. I had a lot of stuff happen in my life. What I can do is fight. Here I'm standing today, feeling strong and changing my ways.
Nice.
Do we need to hear that again?
Sure.
I wrote a poem called A Plan. We all have some downers in life. All you can do is fight. Fight the pain, fight the fears, let it out the way you can, and don't forget, God has a plan. Changing my ways. I had a lot of stuff happen in my life. What I can do is fight. Here I'm standing today, feeling strong and changing my ways.
Sure. No, it's very touching to me that, yeah, standing strong and changing my ways. Rachel, did you want to talk a little about that?
Sure. I think it's the kind of like juxtaposition again, like what I like the earlier line that I pointed out about like staying but also moving on. So this one is like standing strong but also changing, because I think a lot of people really admire those who are very like adamant and like vehement like in their beliefs, and it is like important to, you know, be strong in your beliefs, but there's also a lot of value in being open to change your mind, like when you realize that, you know, you might have been wrong, or that you see like a new perspective or idea that you might not have thought of before.
That's a really beautiful way to put it. And, you know, part of what is so touching to me about these poems is the thinking and the learning that's behind that. I mean, the kids who have written these poems, many of them have really been through so many hard times, and that they know themselves so well that they can write these poems is just so daring. You know, it takes so much courage. Andrea, did you want to comment?
Not too much. I just really, I felt like they were so encouraging and empowering. And And it's so awesome when poets can do that in a very like short few lines. It's something that I would take out if I'm feeling, like giving up or something like that. So I thought they were so powerful.
Thank you. Kathleen, did you want to add to that?
No, I just think that I appreciate the fact that she now is in a better place and is standing strong. And that declaration statement I thought was very powerful.
Yeah. Kim, did you want to add anything?
I just, that same theme that you all have going, and Opal, that you were talking about keeping it real. Like, I love that line. I had a lot of stuff happen in my life. I love when poetry is so brutally real in a certain way, right? Just it's like conversational almost. And I just love that. And then I just echo what all the rest of you have shared.
Yeah, the poet didn't feel the need to do the list of all the sorrows, or all of the injustice that came to scramble and to kick down their existence. It was just about the what now, and that's a pretty daring place to be, in the what now place. So that's terrific. So it's 7:41. Opal, did you have one more poem that you wanted to share? And then maybe we could go on to Andrea.
Well, Andrea can share first. That's all right with me. 'Cause this one's kind of long, so I don't know if we will have time. So Andrea
Okay.
can
Hey,
share
Veranda.
first.
Well, that's really so sweet, Opal. And in case we don't have a chance to share it, I know that people would love to hear it, so we can trade contact information so we can all hear it. So Andrea, would you like to? Yeah.
Can we
Sure.
can we close on Andrea and insert Zalim's
Oh, sure.
poem first, because it's a short one, but
Sure. Thank you.
Yes, we don't lose him. Sorry, Andrea.
You're good. Yeah, I can go ahead and read my poem. Hopefully the internet stays with me. That's why I took off my camera. But anyway, I have my phone in case it goes off. I'm Andrea, and I'm located in Worthington, Minnesota, very southwest corner, and I grew up here, but I was raised across the Midwest. I was born in Dodge City, Kansas. But in the last 2 weeks, I was down at the border, actually, in Laredo, Texas, working with the Frontera Shelter, which is part of the Catholic Charities Diocese of Laredo. So I was very much working with migrant families, and once I've read, that the prompt for this specific session, I was like, well, how fitting that I'm actually at a physical border, and I kind of wanted to write a little bit about my experience there, not necessarily my experiences, but the stories I heard while working with migrants in the U.S.-Mexican border. The poem is called Yuma. Home of opportunities, home of better days. Only one bag filled with necessities ready for the trip, either by dry or wet foot. Escaping physical pain, abuse, controlling regimes, food scarcity, poverty. It is worth leaving over and over again. Crossing 5 or 13 borders to seek refuge is a battle one must choose. Some skip La Selva if they can. Others have no choice but to pay for the Lord's care. La Selva is filled with wild animals, deep waters, and abusive sapiens who exploit bodies. Some make it out alive, with not one scratch on their bodies. Others are beat, assaulted, or dragged by the current. Crossing state borders is a ticket of mild to extreme trauma. Policing and enforcement did not begin on the U.S.-Mexican border. The experience of limited food, extreme temperatures, little access to sunshine is nothing new to most when ICE takes them in. After being detained for months or days, they are released under the basking sun to find their way to family and friends they have not seen in years or perhaps ever met. Spanish or Creole speaking, unbased bodies with clothes that reek of the Rio Grande are welcomed by shelters that help them navigate systems of travel, money, and language. With finalized transportation, we see their eyes squint as they grin widely under their masks. They're ready to be in Yuma, home of immigrants, home of the brave.
Oh,
And I will spell the word Yuma. This is what that word looks like. It is a Cuban slang for the U.S.
oh, thank you so much. And what about La Selva?
That's pretty much like not the forest, but it's what do we call it? I might actually have to Google translate that because I'm trying to think of how do you translate it in English? But it's the jungle. There we go, the jungle.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I am just so touched by that poem and the ending. We see their eyes squint as they grin widely under their masks. I mean, there were so many lines in that poem, but I've been thinking so much about masks and safety and what's hidden and what we can see and the hardships of the people in your poems, and the relief is just so profound. So we have so many comments here. I wonder, Rachel, did you want to talk about what touched you especially?
Yeah, so I really liked the imagery that you used. I know that Kim listed some of those. I couldn't quite catch all of them and type them out fast enough, but I really liked all of those. But the one that I did put in the chat was Home of Immigrants, Home of the Brave. Because, you know, Land of the Free, Home of the Brave is something that, you know, we hear a lot, obviously. And I think it's important to acknowledge that immigrants have a place here and they should be allowed to have a home here.
I know one of the wonderful things that happened in Vermont is that our sort of roguish Republican governor said that he wanted to increase immigration. I mean, he wasn't talking about the kind of COVID immigrants that we have who are second homeowners who decided that they wanted to stay in their ski chalets, but he extended a great welcome to immigrants from other countries to come here in Vermont and to join us for mutual benefit. And it was wonderful to hear that welcome. Did other people have particular parts of this poem or the poem itself that they wanted to respond to? I have lots of pieces that I love, but then I have heard this poem before, and I just loved the part about some skip La Selva if they can, others have no choice but to pray for the Lord's care. La Selva is filled with wild animals, deep waters, and abusive sapiens who exploit bodies. I mean, that just tore me up. Andrea, I wondered if you wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, you know, I am a daughter of Mexican immigrants. But I was born in the U.S., so I have no experience of what it's like to choose to walk, travel on bus, on train, go through very dangerous parts of the world, so the experience was when I was there and listening to the actual firsthand experience was almost like secondhand trauma. And I was really, I really wanted to make sure that this poem didn't have language that was so triggering too. That's why I was very intentional. Because the stories that I heard of what happens in the so the jungle, the jungle is located. It starts I think in Colombia and it ends around Nicaragua, and it's the most dangerous part is from Panama to Nicaragua, I believe, because there are violent people who are legitimately like this. Their job is to go out into that jungle and pretty much trap immigrants that are coming through. And I heard that most of the ones who do get trapped are Haitian women and children. And so, yeah, it's really tragic. I don't even want to use the language they use, but even the people who do make it still have that. They saw, what happens. Like people literally drown right by them. And I think a lot about the people who don't make it home, don't make it here. Like it was kind of, an ode to them too. Like, they're not my thoughts, and I can only imagine. I don't know, I like out of words, so that was the best I could put together so people had that imagery in their minds of like the actual dangers of deciding to come to the U.S.
Well, Andrea, I mean, what I'm feeling about it is that it's very hard to navigate poems of witness and advocacy and avoid sort of disaster porn and to be, I mean, you have such a profound connection to the stories of those people, and I think that the delicacy of the language that you chose, I knew just what you meant. Anybody who was reading it would be able to telescope beyond those words into a place that we can't stay. We don't, you know what I'm saying. I just so admire what you've given, and I know I've already read this poem 2 or 3 times, and I'm going to read it again and again. And I hope that this one and those others that I imagine that you've written about that experience, that you'll move that along, that other people will be able to see this along with you, because I don't want the pain of it to dwell with you, and giving it away will be a good way to move it out of your body.
Thank you so much, Miranda. I really thank you. That's all I have to say.
No, well, I mean, we started this this session of thinking, okay, we'll have poetry something. And we've been doing a lot of backing and forthing, especially Kim and me, about how to have a moving poetry sharing time with just a few people with poems up. And I have to say that I'm just in that place of such openness and gratitude for all of the poems that people have shared so far. And I know that I'm not in the mood just to pick little pieces and throw them together. I'm much more in a place where, I just want to stay with the language that I've heard. I wonder if, we have a few minutes, and I wondered whether Opal, Kim, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I would love it if we could squeeze in Zalam's poem.
Yes, let's certainly do that.
I think there's a way that it, particularly in light of, Zalam is writing us from Minnesota, and I don't want to give it away, but there's a way that it builds on what you were just saying, Veranda, and so go ahead.
No, let's do it. Thank you so much, Kim.
Hello, my name is Zalala Mostrike, and I am from Duluth, Minnesota. And this is my poem called I Am Black. My mom was like, you should try writing a poem. And I was like, okay. So here it is. I Am Black by Zalala Mostrike. Like a shooting star from the sky, I am a bullseye. My battle cry is love. I swoop like a dove. I am black and I will never go back. The world is rough, but I am tough. You can't stop me because I'm enough.
Great.
Hurrah. Can you play that again? I just want to hear it again. Would that be okay?
Absolutely. Let's do it. Oh,
Let's
man.
do it.
I'm sorry. I was texting Diana. I was like, oh my God. Okay, here we go.
Hello, my name is Zalala Mostrike, and I am from Duluth, Minnesota. And this is my poem called I Am Black. My mom was like, you should try writing a poem. And I was like, okay. So here it is. I Am Black by Zalala Mostrike. Like a shooting star from the sky, I am a bullseye. My battle cry is love. I swoop like a dove. I am black and I will never go back. The world is rough, but I am tough. You can't stop me because I'm enough.
Amen. Okay. Wow. So I can only say, I mean, probably along with the rest of you, I've been worrying about the verdict and thinking about all of my, right, the next inaugural poet. That's great. I just am so grateful for all of you for accompanying us through this evening. I think so many, you know, along with Minnesota, I mean, the whole world is watching. And in this safe space that we've created for poetry, you know, all of those things we say we believe about, wisdom from the mouths of babes, or poetry being a universal language, or our mother tongue. His mother told him, go for it, you know. I mean, this is the message we need to wrap around us and bathe ourselves in. And each of you has given me personally so much this evening. And all I can say is namaste, you know, shalom, you know, how beautiful you all are, and how grateful I am to be in your presence.
I just want to say a huge thank you, Veranda. Thank you to all of you. I just want to carry forward that theme that we were just having from Andrea's poem, but that cut across to everyone about what we do with trauma, right? Trauma is written across, you know, experiences of trauma with each piece you all shared, but how you wove that and the power you claimed and how you used words, right? To create belonging and a way to pull us all into belonging. I just am incredibly grateful for it. So thank you to every one of you. And yes, we will be teaming with Whitney to how we take these, and you know, it's part of the prompt, it's part of Rural Assembly Everywhere, and just how it doesn't just live in this wonderful intimate hour that we've had, but that we are also sharing it forward in the world. So huge thank yous, everyone. And huge thank yous, Veranda, for all of your back and forth. Veranda has had a lot behind the scenes, including not having power the last few days. So massive thank you.
Well, each of you is so beautiful. Did anybody else want to say anything before we sign off?
I just was gonna say thank you, everybody, for being here, and thank you for this space. And I feel like that's the power of words. I feel like you all gave me hugs, but with words.
And Opal, we all need them now, boy. We all, gals, you know, women, people, you know, we all need hugs with words. So, you know, at the very start, we sang "Open the Door Softly. I have something to tell you, dear." And we opened the door much wider than the crack upon the floor. I think in our own generous way, we sort of blew the doors off this evening. So rest easily and have dessert or something.
What is the next prompt, by the way? Just so I can start it mulling around in my head, or are you not allowed to tell us yet?
It's a top secret. No, actually, we're going to keep going with this theme for a while, Opal. So you can riff on it. There are so many different ways that you can write to it. So the full theme is My American Dream, Borderlands and Belonging. So, and then I don't know, in a few weeks, we have some other ideas in mind. Thank you, Rachel.
Wonderful to have you.
You can keep going with it, Opal. Any way that you want to connect to the prompt. We welcome it.
Okay.
And please convey our gratitude to all of the poets who sent videos and also their teachers for that. And Andrea, I'm just indebted to you for your work.
Yeah, and shout out to exactly, Andrea. You came home so tired from working around the clock. You know, you probably have even though it shouldn't technically be jet lag, that fatigue and exhaustion in your body. You put words to paper and you sent that off to me with I hope I'm not too late. And it was like, oh my goodness. And this gorgeous piece of writing landed. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you all.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Love to everyone. Thank you. Best happy hour ever.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Love you, mean it.
Bye, everybody. Thank
Bye,
you all
Opal.
for your word-related hugs.
And Opal, we'll keep in touch.
Okay.
I'll put let's see. Can somebody just send my email address to
Yeah,
Opal?
I'll send it. And Veranda, all my love. Thank you. Thank you, Emily.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.